This is how I print $21,000 every single week by doing something called high ticket info. This is actually the same business model that people like TGR over here are using to make over 1.2 million every single month. Now, don't worry, you don't have to be posting brain rot content like this, but even though if you are as brain rot as him, I will basically be spoon feeding you guys to make sure there is no way you watch this whole video and don't understand how to make a bunch of money using high ticket info moving forward. So if you have no idea what high ticket info actually is, let me explain it to you guys in some very, very simple terms so it's easy for you guys to understand as well. High ticket info is actually one of the best business models you can do, especially in 2025. First of all, because previously you would need either a bunch of money to be running ads or you would need a huge personal brand. But nowadays in 2025, there is actually no need for that because you can just utilize AI and the social media algorithm to make a bunch of money, even though you're not making a lot of views off of this. So to just kind of explain to you what high ticket info is, it is essentially just selling high ticket information as a digital product online. So then the question is, okay, but how the fuck do I actually do this? Well, I'm going to explain to you guys in some very simple terms yet again. So what you want to do is you basically just want to be posting content about one specific topic. Then off of this topic you are posting content about, you're going to gain an audience off of that. Okay. Now this might look a little bit weird as you guys can see, but no, fuck that. Forget that one. You're going to gain an audience off of the content you're posting, which is what we want. Then with this content and the audience we gain, we want to make an offer around this topic that we're talking about. And then with this offer that we've just made, we want to sell this offer to our audience and make a bunch of money. Okay. This is in simple terms exactly how we're going to be doing a high ticket info business. But to dive deep into exactly how I'm printing money off of this, let's just go into each specific one of these so you guys actually understand how you can do this for yourself. Okay, so the first thing is going to be the content over here. So let's just make a quick post-it note of content and go deep in on this specific pillar to begin with. Now, what do we have to keep in mind with content? First things first is you want to make sure it is very specific, okay? Now, this is very important, especially nowadays, because the way the social media algorithm actually works, you don't need to make fancy ass videos. Actually, the meta nowadays is to have videos be more raw and less edited, almost like this one that I'm making right here, because this is kind of the new wave of videos you want to do moving forward. The ultra edited, super fancy videos and whatnot are kind of getting almost outdated, even though they're super cool and fancy and new and whatever. The more raw videos like these ones are super real, and they also just bring out a real G, if that makes any sense, which basically means that you know what you're talking about. It's obvious that if you can talk without really many cuts or whatnot, you know what you're talking about. You're actually G in the space and the topic you're talking about. And you also prove yourself as an authority in the space because you know what you're talking about and you also have proof to show that you know what you're talking about. Okay. So the content, first of all, needs to be very specific. The reason why is because just like I told you now, the way you kind of portray yourself, but also the way the social media algorithm works nowadays. And listen to me very carefully now when I say this. The way the algorithm works is that it shows videos to the audience based on what videos they have previously watched and the topics and niches that they want to see. Which means, let's just say you're a fitness coach, right? The people that are going to get recommended your video are people that have watched fitness content previously and have searched up fitness content, and people that only really care about fitness content. Which means if you're a gamer and you go to your recommended page on either YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, chances are that that person is going to get recommended gaming type of videos because that's the videos he likes to watch. The algorithm picks up every single individual, what they like to watch, what is actually what they like, what's interesting for them, so on and so on, which means that every single, I guess, algorithm out there can be individualized, which is super great for you as a new type of content creator or somebody that wants to run a high ticket info business, because now you don't need a big personal brand. You don't need a bunch of followers and a bunch of viewers. All you really need is to create content about one specific thing right here, and you're going to make sure to get the right audience. Here's the thing. If you have a big personal brand or a bunch of views and everything is super general, you're just generating a bunch of views, but you're not actually generating your ideal client customer, basically. Like, you're not generating the people, or excuse me, you're not generating the right views from the people you want to actually watch your videos. Hopefully that makes sense, because the people you want to watch your videos, you want them to be interested about the topic you're talking about, and you also want them to be essentially a customer later down the line, okay? This is very important. So talk about one specific thing, keep it about one specific thing, and then what we're going to be doing is we're going to provide value, and we're also going to show ourselves as an authority by providing value, but we don't want to be spamming value. So don't spam value. What you want with your content is to give value and be authentic. Okay, this is very, very important. Excuse me for my wrong spelling. I'm not an authority when it comes to grammar. What I am, though, is an authority when it comes to how to run a high ticket info business. Not only because I've done it for myself, but I've also scaled multiple people and worked for people like TGR I showed you earlier. So don't give me no fuck about that shit. But anyway, what we want to be doing is we want to give value in the content. So just make sure to like actually talk about one specific thing, give value about that thing, and then also be vulnerable and be authentic. This is why people like TGR are doing so well, because he is as brainwashed as his audience. Even though he's making a bunch of money, it's super relatable for young kids that want to make money trading. They're going to probably be as brainwashed as him because they're on TikTok 24/7 and whatnot. So they're going to watch his videos and be like, holy shit, I'm just the same as TGR. But how the fuck is he making 1.2 mil a month, right? That's the crazy thing. So you want to make sure to actually be as authentic and as vulnerable as you possibly can be in your content as well. Why do we do this? Well, we do this because we want our audience to be good. So if we go back to this, we see that we need to focus on the audience as well, because the content we make is going to give us the right audience. Okay, so if we go to audience over here, what do we need to keep in mind? We need to keep in mind that our audience needs to trust us. If our audience does not trust us, there is no way we are ever going to be able to make money off of them, right? That's very, very important, because you're never going to buy something from somebody that doesn't actually trust you, right? You've probably never thought about it, but let's be real. There is no way you're buying something from somebody you don't trust, somebody you're not interested in, somebody that's not really talking about what you care about, and somebody you've never even heard of in the first place, right? That's kind of the key. So with your content, you're going to be seen, you're going to be discovered. People are going to find you interesting because you talk about things that they want, like things they actually want to hear about. And then you post authentic based content so your audience can actually trust you. So if you can check all of these three, you're pretty much good to go already. Now, once you have the content, you're going to get that audience, and hopefully you do the content right so they eventually trust you. Now that you have these two in place, all that's really left is to just create an offer, which we talked about over here. All you really need to do is create an offer around this specific thing you're talking about. So let's jump into the offer so I can really just give you some quick value on how to actually make this offer and what's important for your offer. So when you're making an offer, what's actually important to keep in mind? Well, first of all, if you guys don't even know what an offer is, it is basically, like I said, just the digital information that you're going to give to your audience, right? Which means we need to have something that is results based. This is very key because your audience isn't just going to pay for some random shit. This is probably a harsh truth for most of you, but your audience doesn't really care too much about you, and they're definitely not going to care about your offer. So what you need is to make sure you can actually provide a result with your offer. Okay, what's important with your offer is to make sure it's results based and that it also has a high likelihood of achievement. This needs to be the case because if you're not bringing results to your audience, then they're going to realize you're just basically bullshitting them, and all this specific talk about your specific thing, all this value and all this authenticity is actually just BS, and nobody's going to trust you anymore, right? So you need to make sure it's a high likelihood of achievement so you can actually bring results to your audience. And once you've done this, you're not just going to have a bunch of testimonials, but what also happens is that you gain a bunch of trust. So you're going to get referrals, and you're basically going to be put in as an authority in the space for whatever thing you're talking about, right? So you're basically going to be that guy in that topic, which then means that whatever you are talking about, chances are people are probably going to come to you first, and you're just going to grow your high ticket info business and scale it from there, which means I'm the guy that's talking about high ticket info. Not a lot of people are really talking about high ticket info. So whenever somebody's talking about high ticket info or here's about high ticket info, I'm probably the guy that they're going to come to because I'm the guy that's talking about high ticket info, right? This way, you basically become that guy, and all you have to do from there is just freaking sell the offer. So at that point, you're pretty much a G in the space. You have your own high ticket offer and high ticket info business, and then you just kind of scale from there. So you jump on sales calls, and then we just close them. So once you've kind of sold the offer and you close them, all you have to do is just fulfill everything that you kind of talked about, and you should be good to go. That's how easy it is to run a high ticket info business, and also why it is so easy to start, even though you don't have a bunch of views, a bunch of followers, or really any sort of personal brand capital, whatever you feel like you think you may need. This is how easy it is. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need a bunch of views. All you need to do is start posting content about one specific thing. It can be very easy, just like TGR. Just pull up your phone and start talking to the camera, build up a little bit of an audience, create an offer, sell the offer, jump on calls and close them. I can make this really more simple than this, but if you want me to go a little bit more in depth on every single thing and every single thing in here, I can make a huge and long ass video talking about every single specific step to show you guys with proper examples as well, so you're kind of not left lost in the dark. So if that makes sense, just let me know, leave a comment down below, I'll make a video on it. If not, all cool, just get the value you can off this video. You can DM me on Instagram, you can email me, whatever, if you need more information or more help. Just ask me whatever questions, I'm always here to help. Besides that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.